Welcome, sons and daughters of Odin, to another reading of the Ancient Northern Oracle by me, Samuel. So, the Elder Futhark runes hold immense power and knowledge and guidance. This is why they chose me. I didn't choose them, they chose me. The reason many of you may ask why I got into runes. I have Scandinavian heritage, Norse heritage, way back. And recently discovered that. I was always drawn to Viking culture, always felt like, oh, that's what I was, a Viking. And I realised after the runes found me that when I started to actually look into them and read them, that the runes found me much earlier than that. I remember as a child doodling a lot of the runes just on bits of paper at school or at home, on my desk at home, and not knowing what they were. I thought they were just stylised versions of actual English letters. And now I realise a lot of them I'd actually picked up from the ether. They were in my blood and they were coming out, letting me know that they would manifest later in my life, and they have now. So I'm very thankful for the runes coming into my life. And I'll get on to the reading now. Here we go. The runes. What is the weird saying today? What's this one? Oh. This is Hagalaz, and that is the symbol of hail, which represents sudden, drastic, and often devastating change. When it hailed in the ancient times, specifically when they were growing their crops, it would devastate crops. There'd be pretty much nothing left, and they'd have to start again, which was always difficult in those times because they relied on the harvest to keep them alive, particularly through the harsh winters of the Northern European winters. So this represents external change, which is often drastic, out of our control, that can be devastating to us. However, there is a duality to this rune. The gift it brings is that knowing the change will pass, so this shall pass. But the challenge is that it destroys our motivation to build back. It can keep us in the energy of the past, of longing for what once was, not moving on. It's important when there's devastating change that we cannot go back from, cannot go backwards from, is to always move forward. Get on with it. Adapt to the change, and often we can come back bigger and stronger than we were before. Our situation will be improved after being temporarily devastated. In other words, for lack of a better term, we go through hardship to come back bigger and stronger, to build strength and resilience and wisdom. We learn from these challenges that come our way, that are sent our way often. Who sends them? The gods, the God, our higher selves. Could be any of these. It could be something that's completely unrelated to us, that just happens. We happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I don't really believe that. That's coincidence. And there are no coincidences, I've found. So everything happens for a reason. And when we stay stuck in the energy of wanting back what once was and is no longer and cannot be resurrected, then we're stuck in that energy of the past and we don't move on. We don't learn from the challenge that's being sent our way. So, for instance, if we have, and this is pretty rough example that most people wouldn't be able to come back from. someone who is in an accident, loses a limb, or has a spinal injury. There is, and it's difficult to say, it would be difficult for anyone to endure. And I'm not diminishing that at all. But staying in that energy of wanting back what once was, which is completely gone, irrecoverable, non-recoverable. You stay in that energy of the past and that energy of wanting back, and you never move on. You don't grow. The challenge is actually seeing it as a temporary challenge. And it is temporary, literally. You go through it once. If you lose your limb in an accident or spinal injury or whatever it may be, the incident happens, it's done. We are left with no choice but to go forward or to stagnate. And when we choose to adapt to our new circumstance, then we can come back bigger and stronger. There's examples of people like Christopher Reeve, for instance. He had a devastating injury, and he was, a man that was Superman. Literally, he played Superman in the movies, and to see him get taken down by that was not only devastating for him, but for everyone that admired him. However, he made the most of that situation. He came back and he was determined to find a cure for his condition, and he was an advocate for people who were in a similar situation, and he never gave up. He never gave up. In the end, he did pass from his condition, but he made a lot of inroads in the work that he did for people in his condition, in his situation, and so did his wife. So he made a difference, and that was all a result of his devastating injury. And he came back and he built strength from that. He didn't have physical strength, but his mental strength and his spiritual strength was 100 times better, stronger, more powerful than what he had before. To be able to achieve what he did when he couldn't walk and couldn't breathe for himself, phenomenal. So that's an example of Hagalaz coming into our lives and really stuffing things up. But we have an opportunity to keep moving, to say this too shall pass. And I have the power to adapt to anything that comes my way, to conquer anything that comes my way. I'm in control of my life, and I decide how I react to things. So I will leave it at that. That's another longish reading, but it's an important one. And no one likes change, and no one wants change a lot of the time. Negative change anyway, or the negative circumstances that force a change, but it can be a negative circumstance that creates a positive change. That is the energy of Hagalaz. So I shall see you all on the next reading tomorrow. Hold the head and hammer high.